All right, Hector Rodriguez, thank you for joining me. This is the Do Big Things podcast. I appreciate you being here, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me come on.
Absolutely. So we were just chatting, and it sounds like you're temporarily living in an RV and moving around and living the good life, man.
Man, I'm literally living my dream right now.
Really?
So you nailed it. Yeah, we got an RV. I don't know, it wasn't that long ago, 3, 4, 5 months ago,
Okay.
and I took the opportunity of being virtual and my girls' school being virtual to go get in nature, man. To go
Mm.
go park the RV at the base of some mountains, canyons, deserts, streams, rivers. Man, we've done so much, um, and gotten outside and gotten really active. So I found for myself, man, I don't need much. Just give me some trail shoes, my vest,
Yep.
my family healthy, man, and let me just go run. So
Dude, that's it.
I'm living it right now. So I'm gonna milk this as long as I can.
So are you working virtually?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. And your
it's
girl, you said she's going to school virtual?
yep.
Okay.
So
And you
right
got
now they're homeschooled. So my wife, takes care of that.
okay,
And so I don't know how long this will last, but I'm going to enjoy every single day that I have,
dude.
kind of being able to be, basically everything I said in the mountains and the deserts and canyons and just in nature, man. I'm loving it so much.
Dude, that's it right there. Just live it up, man. Enjoy every second. I mean, like you said, you don't know how long this will last. So just soak it up, man. Just, yeah, do it and do it hard. Good for you, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, man, I learned from Jesse Itzler, if you don't know who he is,
Yeah.
but I'm a big fan of him. And I don't know if it was last year, but at some point he just said something along the lines like, yeah, I hope to leave my kids, a lot of money and stuff when his time comes. But what he really hopes, more importantly, is that he leaves them experiences
Mm,
and memories.
mm-hmm.
So I've always like really stuck with me to kind of invest in experiences. And there has been no doubt in these last 5 months, man, we've had so many memorable moments as a family. And I got two little girls, 9 and 8. And we just have a blast, man. So I'm really blessed to be able to provide what I've done. And like I said, I'll just keep rolling with the punches as long as I can and just keep going.
That's so cool. That's it
So
right
it's been
there,
awesome.
man. It's a dream life. So many people just wish they could have that life. So
Yeah.
that's it, man. And it sounds like you've got the right attitude as well. Brian Pasenti is the one that kind of turned me on to you and said, "Man,
Yeah.
you gotta have this guy on your podcast. Like, the guy's legit." And so, yeah, man. Like I said, it
Yeah.
sounds like you've got the right attitude. Where did this attitude come from with you? Have you always been? It sounds like you have this positive mental attitude, and it kind of shines through. Is this something you've always had?
First, shout out to Brian, man. Great dude. Love that dude.
That dude's cool.
He's
Yeah,
awesome. I call him my Moab 240 brother.
awesome.
A super cool dude.
Cool.
I would say that I think it all came about, man. Just like at some point, man. I seen a post the other day, man. I think it's once I decided to start getting into running, and then specifically trail running and getting in mountains. There's no doubt that there was a shift that just happened in my brain and my mindset.
Mhm.
And I think we were kind of speaking. I don't know if we just said it now or offline, but I found that I would be somebody that like I have so much stuff or crap, and now I'm finding out like the more I can get rid of stuff, just give me my trail shoes, and I just simplify things, and I'm just so much happier, and I'm just carrying so much less. Um, and just like right now, like I'm kind of moving around a lot, and I'm enjoying it, man. Like the more I can get in nature, the more I can run around the mountains, the happier I am. So I'm like becoming a mountain man, big time. It's like it's hard, man, to be out there, man. Sometimes you see the deers running around. Literally last week, we woke up to coyotes howling, and like I'm comfortable around coyotes. Like I've seen so many of them that they're harmless,
Hmm.
to people for the most part.
Right.
And it's just like those kind of moments are just so beautiful that I'm just like blessed right now. So I'm super happy. Just being in nature, man. I don't know what else to say. It's so simple, man. Like, you never go to the top of a mountain and look down, or even on the climb up and just go like, wow, like this isn't incredible. This isn't like the most beautiful thing ever. Yeah. So I'm trying to be in that environment as much as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I'm a Wisconsin guy originally, and the mountains just had this draw for me. They were just like calling my name. And came out here, climbed my first 14er, and had to go back home. And, you know, but I just kept thinking about them. I'm like, man, like I got to get back out there, and eventually made my way out here. And it's like the nature and outdoors, they just have this healing property, you know, and it's like, and you mentioned that you have a lot of crap. Do you mean like crap in your head, or like,
no, like physical crap? Like, like once I shedded just so much stuff, and I just put stuff away, and now I'm rolling with what I can fit in an RV. Yep. You know, I realize that I just don't need so much materialistic thing or so many items. Like, I literally just need, you know, a few workout clothes, a few different, you know, road shoes, some trail shoes, my vest, you know, some warm clothes, as you know, the conditions in like the deserts or the top of mountains, you know, you get warmer and colder, but you just give me just those, just the bare minimum, man. And I'm sweet. I'm ready to go. Yep. So that's what kind of also rolling around in this RV has kind of really opened my eyes. I'm a big fan of the movie Fight Club with Brad Pitt from a long time ago. For sure. And it's always stuck with me too. I think there's a saying in that movie that says like, the things you own end up owning you. Mm-hmm. And so like, this has also kind of been like an experiment with myself and my family. Like, hey, can we get rid of like 90% of our junk, or not get rid of it, but we got it in storage. Mm-hmm. And can we roll around right now with just the minimum? And are we happier or not happier? And we're finding that like we feel free and we feel happy. So, you know, I don't know if it's for everyone, but I think for people who love nature and who love being in national parks and mountains and canyons and deserts and all that kind of stuff, it's awesome. Yeah. So it's like almost like the saying that more is less, you know, like I'm happier with less. And it's just, it's so weird and so different than what I would have thought, you know, the previous 30 years of my life.
So is your family down for this adventure too? They're loving this? Really? Okay. So was 100%. This originally your idea, or was this kind of a collaboration with your family?
No, this was my idea. So my family, like I get into the mountains and I get into nature like a madman. And I also I was having to travel a lot by myself, a lot from San Diego to Seattle and back almost every week for like a year or 2 years. So I got to experience a lot of nature, and I was seeing how much the benefits were having to me personally, and how much I like the travel. Like I didn't like obviously leaving them, but you know, it was kind of cool seeing different parts of the country. Mm-hmm. So like I would go back and forth a lot to Seattle, but I also would go to Colorado. I would go to Florida, Texas. Like there was a lot of other places that I would go to. And so when the pandemic hit and things went virtual and that kind of traveling stopped for work, I proposed it to my wife. I said, hey, like I know what nature's done for me, and I know what being active every day has done for me. Let's take this as an opportunity and let's put our stuff away and let's just go and just hit the road. I had the Moab 240 coming up. Like, let's like travel our way to Moab. Let's stay in Moab. Let's travel our way back, and let's wake up, you know, in canyons, mountains, beaches, you know, wherever in nature. And she was like, you're crazy. How are you going to do that? We don't have an RV. We don't have a truck. And then she goes, have you ever pulled anything in your life? Like, have you ever even pulled a trailer? Yeah. And I was like, I know we don't have a truck. I know we don't have an RV. And no, I've never pulled anything ever in my life. But I was like, if I figure all this out, you down? And she was like, hell yeah, I'm down. So I literally sold an electric car, picked up a truck, went and got the RV, and then played around with how to tow the freaking sucker.
Yep.
And we went off. So I'm a believer in the saying, do crazy. And so I do crazy in like some of the run challenges I do. And I've never shared what I've just shared with you with anybody publicly, and very few of like my friends and family. So it's funny, but yeah, that's kind of how it went down.
I mean, you have, that's our motto, is do big things. And it sounds like you own that, man. I love it. I love it. So I want to talk about your ultra running, but how did it all start? Where did you grow up? What was your childhood like? Like, how did you get into this crazy sport?
I grew up in San Diego, and I played soccer and basketball. I played soccer for high school, played basketball like kind of on the side, and really enjoyed, the camaraderie and just the sport of both. And then after high school, I don't know why, but like literally everybody I knew for the most part stopped playing sports. And something, compelled me to like continue to train. So I went down the road of Ironmans, and cycling and running and swimming and that kind of avenue. So I would say for a good portion of, like high school to maybe being, I don't know, 33, 34 years old. I might be off on the age range, but I was doing 70.3s, and I did do one full Ironman. So I think that's kind of where I got like an enjoyment of like the training, and then having that race, and then doing the race. So we were doing that, and me and my brother had signed up to go to Cozumel to run the 70.3 Ironman there. And that place is beautiful, amazing. But I don't know why I was so just turned off from like the traveling with the bike, and then setting it up, and then folding it down, and then bringing it back. And I don't know why, but it just kind of turned me off. So I had stopped training for a little while, gained weight. As I mentioned, I was flying back and forth from San Diego to Seattle. So I would sit in hotel bars, drink beer, watch sports games, eat, burgers and fries. And so I started getting bigger and not really training much, very, very light. Then around 2018 in August, my brother started getting kind of the ultra bug, and he went out to go to Big Bear, California to do a 50-miler race. So I was like, all right, I'm going to come check you out. So I think at mile, like somewhere in the mid 30s, I saw him at the aid station. And me and my brother have always, in all of our like Ironmans or half marathons, we always finished. Like even if we didn't train and we just went out there to just go, like we finished. So he was coming, and he looked dead, like nothing I ever seen him. So I was like, yo, I'm going to jump on the course with you. So I didn't even know if I could do that, but I didn't care. So I jumped on course to like try to give him some life. And we might have went a mile up. And in that mile, I'm just looking around at Big Bear, and I had never really been in trails before. And I'm going, wow, like this is freaking awesome. And like that shift that I talk about happened in that moment. I'm like, man, this is beautiful. Big Bear is amazing. And so I'm like enjoying it and going like, wow, I really like this, as we're going up the mountain. And then he's practically ready to fall over on me because he's so beat. So then he tells me like, hey, like, man, like I'm done. Like I've given my everything. I'm not breathing right. And I was like, all right, man, like I'm proud of the effort you gave. You gave 110%. There's no shame in that. So he DNF'd. So his DNF like stuck in my head that he picked the challenge so hard that he couldn't finish. So then like that just kind of stayed with me. And then fast forward a few months, the Can't Hurt Me book by David Goggins came out. And that kind of was happening at the same time that there was a lot of family drama happening in my life. And I was seeing a lot of people very, very close to me cracking in their mindset. So like kind of remembering my brother's thing and feeling how I felt in the mountains, seeing like this circle of people that were just like dealing with like depression, anxiety, anger, and not knowing how to handle it and looking towards like alcohol and outbursts and things like that to kind of let it out, I was like, oh man, like I haven't dealt with those things, but I was like, I better start leading by example here. And Goggins' book gave me those tools to go, all right, like I need to start getting off my butt, and I need to start, like I can't talk the talk without walking the walk. And so literally that last week of December, with seeing things going on that I didn't like with my family, I literally like overnight took that book and ran with it. And it has been night and day ever since.
Did you go to were you in the military or anything? Not in the military. Okay.
No, but no.
So,
why?
I'm just curious, like where this mindset came from. I mean, like I understand you always sort of did triathlons and then you had sort of a switch, but it's rare that, you know, a lot of people get inspired when they read David Goggins' book or, you know, see a cool video or run their first trail race. And sometimes that inspiration doesn't really stick with them, but you're taking this thing to the extreme, man. You did the more 40. You've got 200 milers coming up next year within 3 months, right?
Yeah.
I just looked at your ultra sign up.
Yeah, I would say
it's pretty nuts, man.
Yeah, I would say what I think really opened my eyes was like maybe two things. One was I literally, like, when I made that commitment that I'm like, all right, I'm taking Goggins' book and I'm running with it. And one of my goals was I heard him tell Joe Rogan, they were like having a conversation on that podcast. And Joe Rogan goes like, do you take days off? And like he laughs, or he goes like, nah, I get after it every day. And I was always somebody that would, like, if I was training, I would maybe train, like, I'm going to just throw out an example. Let's say Monday through Friday, and then I would plan 2 days off to recover. And then like I would always do that, or work out 4 days, take 3 days off. And I don't know why I did that. Like maybe it was just other people's recommendations. Maybe it was just a self-imposed limitation on myself that I needed that recovery, whatever it was. When I heard him say that, I said, well, if he can do it, can I do that? Let me try. So I started going back to back. I made the goal that every day for 2019, I would average 10 miles a day. So I would finish the year with at least 3,650 miles.
Wow.
And I did it. And I did it last year, and I'm going to do it again this year.
Wow.
And what I found in that was, one, other people's limitations are not mine. People would say, you're crazy. Why are you doing that? It's bad for your knees. You know, you're going to hurt yourself. And what happened was I have so much more energy now every day. Like I wake up and my body feels weird now not doing the 10 miles a day. I lost a lot of weight. I lost probably 50 pounds. My knees feel better than ever. And that just kind of was the first click to go, I'm not going to ever let other people's limitations be mine.
Yeah.
And so that gave me the confidence to go, I didn't get hurt. I still have never gotten like seriously hurt. Do I have like aches and pains and minor things? Of course, all the time. But I proved to myself I could do it, and I'm over 2 years in a row of doing that. And then the second piece would be in March of 2019. I had signed up for a 24-hour race. I think it was March 2019, or maybe I'm sorry, March 2020. And it was a local race here in San Diego. And I was setting up, I was a 24-hour race, and I was having like family and friends come out to come pace me and support me in the event. And one of my best friends, he texted me around like mile 32, like, hey, how are you doing? Because he was going to come run the night with me. And I said, man, my knee is hurting bad. Like, I don't know. And he's like, oh, damn it, man. Like, I should have came now. And I'm like, I'm going to keep going. And so I ended up going 58 more miles and finished in 5th place in that race. And that was when I went and and what I learned in that race was that the pain subsided and I got a second win. And when I thought I was done, and maybe most people would have quit then, I was able to go 58 more miles. So it taught me that our brains will look for that comfort, like, hey, like you did 32, go chill, like go sit down, your knee is hurting. And I found out that for me, at least in that experience, that was a lie. Because my knee a mile later or 2 miles later, however long it was, it went fine. And nothing ever major happened. And then I went 90 miles. And then that went like, oh, damn, like how much have I been leaving on the table in life? And then it was like, with like doing some crazy challenges all year long.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is like, has this sort of attitude and this switch for you translated to anything else in life? Like your job, business, family, has anything else skyrocketed the way your running has?
Everything you just said is more important for me to do what I'm doing because of those benefits. So I would say 1000%, I am in the camp of training for life. And I'm also in the camp that Cameron Haynes talks about, that I've seen him talk about, which is training to be your best when your body's at its worst. Like I've done races with having like 100 miles on my leg and no taper purposely to go kind of feel like crap and get through a race. So like the performance of things is less like whether I get 5th place or a 2nd place or 100th place matters less to me. I like more the training for life and doing things and training to do things when my body's not feeling good, but I get the job anyway, done, and things like that, because I do find that it translates. It would be super sad of me to give such an intense effort in going after these big endurance challenges and not give more of an effort to my wife and to my daughters and to work. So I definitely take like those experiences of being in the mountain and going like, I'm 40 miles in, I'm dead tired, and I got to get up that thing. Do I quit or do I figure a way up? Do I just keep moving forward and take a step at a time? So like in life, maybe a project's coming and I'm overwhelmed. Well, what did I do in the mountain? I just took it one step at a time. Let's figure out the smaller milestones and let's just keep working forward. So those things absolutely apply. It's universal. And the same thing with my wife and my girls, like everything, there's like no chinks in my armor right now. I truly feel like I feel the training and putting myself in such tough conditions and figuring out how to get out of those mountains or how to get up those hills makes anything that work or life throws at me, I almost want to say easier. Like I make it so hard on myself that that's easy, and I can make sure that I'm always moving forward efficiently and as best we can for everybody. And I'll also say that I have like pretty darn good endurance, and I can endure some pain that I've learned from Moab 240. I did a last person standing event. I've done 250Ks already this year. And you better believe if I need to shift that energy or that endurance to providing for my family, to working 48 straight hours to get an assignment done for work, for taking care of somebody sick, I can pivot that energy without a doubt. And so it almost gives me a peace in life that as long as I keep my axe, I use an analogy, as long as I keep my axe sharp, that I can endure most people, then I can outwork them. And if I can outwork them, then my family's always got food on the table, and I can pivot all of this energy I have to making sure they're good with whatever that entails. So that's why, that is my why for what I'm doing, essentially.
Yeah, that's it right there.
One of them.
For sure.
I got a lot.
No, I mean, I like that analogy, like train for life. Like ultra running is the perfect analogy for life. Like, you know, when things are getting tough, what are you going to do? And if you put yourself out in the mountains, out in these crazy races, and you learn who you are and you learn how to dig deep, it's going to make things in life just that much easier. So I love it, man. I love it. Going back a little bit, why were you so passionate about triathlon in your like late teens, early 20s? It sounds like basically right out of school, right? Right out of high school.
Yeah, I think the passion started because my uncle, who I look up to as kind of like a big brother
Okay.
mentor, he had gotten into it. So it was more like
Uh,
I want to hang out with my uncle and train with my uncle.
okay.
And then just as a kid, like it's fun riding a bike, you
Sure.
know. And then out here, I live in San Diego, so like we have this place called La Jolla Cove, which is super cool. So like me and my buddy would go swim in there, and we'd be swimming around the sea lion. So
Mm.
like just different stuff. Being in nature was cool, and then like Ironman events are fun. Like it brings a big crowd, so there's a lot of energy. It's a little different than the ultra, where it's like a little bit more scarce.
Totally.
But I would just say just trying to hang out with my uncle was what got me going in Ironman. And then it just felt like it gave me an advantage versus maybe my peers that at least like, hey, let's say I'm 30 years old and at least I'm still training.
Mhm.
I'm still working. I'm still a father. I'm still a husband, and I'm still training. Where everyone else I knew for the most part was not training.
Right.
So like it almost like gives me like a feeling like back to kind of like I'm outworking people,
Mm-hmm.
and the people is just in general.
Yeah.
So I think I got kind of a kick out of that, and now that's kind of like I'm like down a deep rabbit hole on like kind of to the Goggins kind of taking souls thing.
Yeah.
To like that's where my mentality is like you're tired from your 9 to 5 when I've did 7 miles before work. We'll do 3 miles during lunch, and then I'll do while you're going to happy hour tired.
Yep.
I'll go do another 3 or 4 miles. Like, and so then I start going like, like I have those levers that I can pull if I need to outwork my peers, even in the company I work for.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm a student, man. I'm a student to like people like David Goggins, Cameron Haynes, Chad Wright. If you know who Chad Wright is, Jesse Itzler. Like I got definitely some people. Courtney DeWalter, I love. So just different people like that I look up to for the mental side. The mental fitness is what I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
Because that's what I find translates to everything else. I'll figure out how to look good in a bathing suit later.
No, that's it right there. You got to have your mental right. You got to be right, physically, mentally, and spiritually in order to get a ultra marathon done, especially something of the magnitude of the Moab 240. So
Yeah.
It sounds like your head's in the right place, man. Is your uncle still around or still doing tries?
No, he's not doing tries. He did come and meet me in Moab and was part of my crew.
Nice.
So he
Nice.
definitely pushed me through the last night, which
cool.
was freaking awesome. So
That's cool.
And I expect him to be with me during the Triple Crown. He lives in Indiana, and I'm from San Diego. So we do plan trips before the pandemic to get together. Like we went and did the Grand Canyon. So he's still active, but I don't think he's done any races recently.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us have, like, except for if you're in Utah or some of these states at the time that were still running races.
Right. No, that's cool, man. And your story is sort of similar to mine. My dad was a cyclist when I was a kid, and he did this big ski race called the Birkebeiner. And I remember, he went and did it with a buddy, and he came home and he looked all tired. And I was like, "How was it, Dad?" And he's just like, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And those words just stuck with me when I was a kid. I don't know how old I was. I was like 10 or 12. And I'm just like, so my dad like took time away from work and went with his friend to go do the hardest thing he ever did. Like as a kid, I was just like, that is cool. That's really cool.
Yes.
So I've just been on this mission looking for the hardest thing I ever did ever since then, really. So that's really cool, man. So tell me about the Triple Crown that's coming up. I mean, 3 200s in 3 months.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'll go back to that moment where my knee was hurting at mile 32, and I was able to bust out 58 miles. In the Moab 240, I had a video clip, which was funny, that my sister took of me, and I was just crossing mile 100 or 101. And you can see me. I'm like wobbly. Like you could tell I'm in the pain cave.
Yeah.
And it turns out that I went another 140 miles after that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I do have, I would label it an obsession or a fascination to see what my limitation is to what I can endure. And so last year, I did a 100-miler on a treadmill. I did a 146-mile last person standing event, which I got second. And then the Moab 240, amongst some other challenges. And I wanted to go, how can I top that year? And I thought, well, going for the Triple Crown would be topping, you know, what I did in 2020.
Sure. Yeah.
So I want to see if I could do it. Like,
wow.
I'm somebody who isn't scared. I'm not afraid to fail. I've learned that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Mm-hmm. You know, I have people that absolutely right now are looking up to me and are inspired by me. So two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to finish the Triple Crown, which is going to be freaking awesome, and I'm going to party in Moab like a maniac if I do that. So I can't wait for that. Yeah. Or I'm going to fail coming outside my soul and giving my heart to that race. And you'll see me then go back again the following year or whenever I can get. It's a lottery selection. It's like not the easiest to get into, but I'll definitely go back. So you'll either see me fall and pick myself up and go again, or you're going to see me party like a rock star in Moab. So wow. Be ready, Destination Trails.
Oh, dude, that's so cool. I just love you, man. You're just so positive. You know, and it doesn't look like you've done a whole lot of 100-milers either. You just kind of jumped right into those long distances, man. Like, what attracted you to the super long distances? Was it just the challenge?
So I did a 100-mile treadmill and then a 146-mile treadmill. So you're right. I had never done a 100-mile on the street or on a trail. And so when I had done that 146-miler was July, I just felt that my endurance and my mindset and my lack of caring if I fail. I'm a big believer in that Theodore Roosevelt. I think he's the one who says it, like just the man in the arena quote. Like I'm somebody, I don't care what critics and like people who aren't in the arena say. Right. So people might laugh at me, think I'm nuts, might think I'm crazy, but I'm the one lacing up my shoes and attempting to go do something like Moab 240. So I didn't care if I failed. Like I don't care about failure. Long as I'm in the arena and I'm giving my best effort and supporting my Wolfpack or the team or the other, you know, the family that's in the arena with me, which I freaking, that's one thing I love about the ultra community. So I just believed in myself and believed the one of two things would happen. Either I'll give my best effort and I'll learn some new stuff about me and I'll go back the next year, or I'll finish it. And I knew that the year before Goggins had done it. I know Cameron Haynes had done it. I knew Courtney DeWalter had done it. So I thought it would be just super memorable. And then I'm a big, I would also throw in the people that I look up to Candace Burt. She's the owner of Destination Trails. She is such an awesome role model to my little girls, as you know, an entrepreneur, freaking awesome trail runner, great mindset, runs the business. Like, I love that lady. Cool. So like, just kind of like getting an opportunity. I was hoping I got to meet her, which I did. and then just being on the same course as the people I just mentioned, like it was a win. So I failed, but at least I tried, and I got to be, you know, in the arena, like in the arena of the arenas, in like the hardest 2020 challenge. And then it just was like the icing on the cake when David Goggins was there, and I got to meet him, and then I got to meet Candace Burt and Mike McKnight, and just all of these people that are just, again, like the elite of the elite with the mental mindset that like I get to have conversations and interact with them and be around them and feel that energy and that vibe. So I'm just so happy that I went with the attitude of that saying of, you know, it's better to aim high and miss than aim low and hit. Like I could have went for 100 mile and probably knocked it out, but I went big and then I hit big, and I got to meet a whole ton of cool people and engage with them. So that was kind of my why, man. So it was a blast.
What did you say to Goggins when you got to meet him? Did you thank him for the inspiration, or what was that like?
So it was really cool the way it worked out, because I was able to do a favor for him, which was cool. It was a cool way to meet him. So I was staying on the campground in Moab, and I seen him pull up, and like, I think it was him driving, if I recall correctly. And he kind of parked in a spot you're not supposed to park. And I think some people, like this older couple, didn't recognize him and were like kind of giving him a hard time of where he was trying to park. And my guess is that like he wasn't staying on the campground. He was probably just trying to run in and out and get, you know, his stuff. So I seen that. So then I went over to him and I said, hey, I have an extra parking spot here, because I had a little cabin for my support crew and they weren't there yet. I said, you can come park here. And so he was like, oh, thank you, brother, right on. So he went and parked, and then like I walked with him back, and we just had like a small conversation on like, you know, if he's excited and the course, and, you know, like small chat. I didn't want to like give him the whole spiel that I know that everybody would.
Yeah.
So then I was back at like the campsite, and I was talking to a buddy who I just met there, and I said, yo, like David Goggins, I was just talking with him, and then as I'm talking to him, David Goggins was walking back. And so that dude, you know, was like, hey man, you're the reason why, you know, I changed my life. You know, you're such an inspiration. So he kind of did what I didn't want to do, but he opened it up for me. So then I gave him a little bit of that, and then he took pictures with us, and it was an awesome experience. And then I got to run on the course with him for a little bit, and then obviously he took off. So we just had a small chat. He gave me some advice on the course, and it was just a blast. He was super awesome guy, like a hero of mine for sure.
For sure. Yeah. That's the cool thing about this sport is you get to rub elbows with all the top people. You know, it's like, you know, if you're a fan of basketball, you don't get to go play with the NBA, LeBron James or something, you know, I mean, but ultra running, yeah, you get to run with Courtney DeWalter, you get to run with David Goggins, Cameron Haynes, just depends on who shows up at that race. And, you know, you can talk to them, ask them for advice, tell them thank you. That's the cool thing about the sport.
Yeah, I would agree. Like I said, I look up to Candace Burt, and she was great. She was super sweet to my family. Even like today, like not today literally, but like after the race, like she's been encouraging, and just an awesome person to engage with. Mike McKnight was somebody I met a mile 72, like the same thing. Like these people are super friendly, just super awesome people. Like you already look up to them and go like, these are awesome people. And then you meet them and they're even more awesome. So it's freaking cool. And they're like approachable. Like they'll talk to you, you know, like I guarantee if you're like in some of like the Facebook chats with Candace, or if you hit up Mike McKnight on Instagram, like I feel confident they'll respond to you.
They'll hit you back,
and they'll,
sure.
Yeah. And they'll answer questions. And like the ultra community, man, I feel blessed to be a part of it, man. There's so many good people. Like I have yet to meet a bad person. I'm literally going now, like when I'm doing this traveling, I'm like putting on my Instagram, yo, like H-Rod is in town, who wants to run? And I'm meeting people and just running. And without a doubt, like every single time without fail, these people are inspiring, awesome, beautiful, amazing, man. I just had a blast, like with a crew that I met in Arizona. And next week I'm gonna go meet like a new crew in LA. Wow. So it's just, there's amazing people, man. It's just, you know, I think they like, there's a beauty about like a group of people going into that pain cave, whatever that is for them, and battling whatever that is, and encouraging one another, and just getting better and moving limitations and getting stronger, and just doing it as a team. That is, it just creates strong bonds. You know, like we talked about Brian, who just, you know, who's a mutual friend of ours. And I could not, like, just knowing that he was on the Moab 240 course somewhere, you know, in front of me, but knowing that like he was just there battling with me, and all of the other runners, like I feel like a bond and a love for people that I didn't even meet in person, and maybe I just met afterwards. The fact that we all went and battled those mountains together. So it's crazy how like challenges bring bonds that feel like family in a lot of ways with some of these challenges. So like I have so many reasons why I love doing what I'm doing, and that's just another one of them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and you get that in other sports, but ultra running is just like that bond is just a little bit thicker, you know?
For me it is, yeah.
It's like men bond through sweat and blood. I heard someone else say, like in times of war, you know, of course men are bonding through bloody battles and whatnot. But yeah, on ultra marathon courses, we're like, you know, you know each other, even if you and Brian might have been miles apart, but somehow you guys know each other because you went through this thing together, you know, 240 miles, you both made it to the finish line, even if it was at different times. You guys know each other like at a level that other people might not ever know anybody, you know?
Yeah. It's like a connection, man. And like, I'll give an example. Like the last night, I'm like probably walking like a zombie, and there was this woman named Amy who was walking like a zombie like me, but caught up to me. And my uncle was pacing me, so it was just us three. And the whole night, we were both so miserable. We got to the point where we would like walk 50 minutes, and then the goal was like to get through that 50 minutes of moving forward. And then like she would go up the trail or I'd pull over, and we would close our eyes for 10 minutes. And then my uncle would stand there with his watch to make sure we were up. And then we did it again. And then we did it again. And we knew that both of us knew from our experiences that as soon as the sunrise came, we would be a whole new set of energy. And it was right. So anyways, me and her battled until we got to the aid station, and they got, you know, the sunrise. And then she went to like her crew and I went to mine. And then I didn't see her till the end. That night with her, was such a bonding experience for me that literally, like, I may not talk to her again until like she's gonna come back for some more of the races, and we did talk about like me crewing her because she's gonna go for Badwater and these things that they happen. But like, if she absolutely needed a friend to have a conversation with, if there was anything I could do for her, if she ever reached out, 1,000, 100,000,000%, I would do it in a second. If she needed me to fly to Florida to move her from one house to the other and something silly like that, like I would try to go do it. It's like that's how much that experience and that kind of bonding impacts me in those kind of experiences. It's undescribable.
Totally. Wow. And she probably would for you too, you know?
I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. What was your lowest low at Moab?
To be honest with you, I never had a moment to where I needed a pep talk. Like I use analogy a lot in my life of like a wolf. And I felt like a wolf, man. I felt like uncivilized. I felt like I was just, I had to get to the pack. I had to lead by example. I had to show hard work, discipline. like I had to come back showing what all of that. So I sacrifice. I was going to say sacrifice is past tense, but I'm still doing it. I sacrifice a lot of time from my family by going out on Saturday mornings and doing these long runs and every day hitting those 10 miles and doing all this, you know, the freaking rabbit hole I'm in with like testing myself and daily pain cave. And I knew that I wanted to show them that it wasn't for nothing. Like my daily sweat, my daily pain cave battles was to prove that I could do something 99% of people can't do. And it goes back to that training for life, that like, hey, what I'm doing is not for nothing. If I can endure 5 days, 4 nights in those mountains, if I can do it with almost no sleep, climbing 30,000 feet almost, you better believe if something happens in life, I can pivot that energy to you guys. And so it was kind of like I was on a mission. I was like a man on a mission, or a wolf on a mission that I'll use to make sure that I was coming with the pack, leading by example and showing that hard work works. So from a mental standpoint, I never needed a pep talk. From a physical standpoint, maybe the only low I had was, I can't remember what mile it was. Maybe it was 130, 140, but my feet were probably the worst pain I felt ever. Like I had felt like I had trained to walk through fire, but never trained to walk through hell. And I was walking through hell. I had gotten advice to get a shoe size a half size bigger in case they start to swell. And that ended up being what saved me. Was a couple nights before, I told my brother, like, go to REI and pick me up some shoes. And when you come into town, bring me those shoes. So my foot, I think, had gotten so swollen. And I noticed that when I had an ankle sock I was going to put on, that couldn't fit anymore. So I was like, oh, damn, like my feet are jacked up. And then the whole bottom was jacked up. So I ended up going to see a medic, and they like taped up my foot, covered all the blisters with Luca tape or some kind of tape, I forgot. We put the bigger shoe on. And then I went back to walking through fire, which I had trained to do. So it was painful to just walk each step. I was literally, I remember very vividly as I'm going through the trail of like looking for the spots where like the sand was fluffy just to make it less hard on my feet. It was so crazy. So other than that physical part, it was just my feet. So I'm going to, I got to figure that out going into next year. And then mentally, I was a rock star, man. I didn't need a pep talk. I was ready to go.
That's so cool. What about highs? Did you have any highs out there where you're just like, man, this is what I'm made for. This is it right here.
Oh man, so many of them, man. When I'm running through the night, and you know, there was times where there was a time where my sister was pacing me, and she's like, I see eyes looking at us. And I'm like, you're tripping. And she's like, no, like there's eyes. And I look and I'm like, oh yeah, there are eyes. So just like moments of just like being out there with wildlife, and and it ended up being like a big group of deer. So it wasn't like nothing crazy. But then later on we saw a big group of cows that were like, I think they were wild or something. And just kind of like, just feeling like, in those 5 days, literally like my focus was to eat, to stay hydrated, and to move in the mountains. Nothing else was a focus. So like life was like just so simple. And like, again, I felt like a wolf, like I was just on a hunt in the mountains, moving like an animal with one goal, and that was to finish. So I absolutely had like that high of just feeling like when do you get like an opportunity to just be so disconnected and like have a simple mission like that.
Right.
And then the second part was, you know, going down that last mile, I had a buddy, you know, come check in on me. I had, you know, my family like come and bring me in to the finish line, and kind of having, you know, my crew, my family, my girls all see me persevere and come out of those mountains and be able to do it, bobbing my head, you know, like, hell yeah, I just did it, was, you know, something that can never be duplicated. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I freaking get emotional right now. Just if you started poking me with that,
Totally.
like I'd probably start bawling. Like that's how much that experience was.
And you're going to carry that with you forever, man.
100%.
A special moment, and you're always going to remember that. So hang on to it, man. That's so cool.
Yeah.
What was training like leading up to the Moab 240? I mean, were you just running your double digits every day, just like 10 miles a day, or did you specify certain days like, okay, today's got to be real long, or what was that like?
Yeah, so I was always pretty much hitting the 10 miles a day. So that's kind of always my thing. And for me, I know that training probably, like, I'm sure there's probably a lot of people who probably don't think that's smart or, you know, like have their own opinions. I think for me, it worked great because I was comfortable in the mountains when my body wasn't feeling that great. Like I'm used to that. So I'm used to having, you know, 70 to 100 miles on my legs and then still going for another 10 miles. So I know how to like get through that. Now I think it's a fine line that I'm walking between hurting myself and then just knowing my body, what I can take. Because if I did ever feel like I was going to get injured, I would take a day off, no doubt. So I'm not in the game of getting injured, but I am in the game of pushing past pain and discomfort and that kind of thing. So I do think I think I'm very in tune into my body. And so it helped me because inevitably you're going to be broken down in Moab. I don't care who you are, at some point, mentally and physically, you're going to be broken down. So I think as much of training when you're in that state is beneficial. So yeah, I was hitting the 10 miles every day. I would do longer runs on the weekends, you know, anything from 10 to 30 miles, but the 30 miles would be just very scarce. Like it wasn't that often. And then in, let's see, the Moab was in October. So I would say like the end of August to September, I wanted to get myself to Colorado, but I couldn't get the accommodations to work for my family, and I got 2 dogs. So I ended up going like, okay, what's the next best thing? So I went in Arizona and I trained a lot in the heat. So that was kind of something unique that I did was I went in Arizona for a month and I was like the only knucklehead running around outside in like 115-degree weather. And I was so nervous with, so in Moab, you have to carry quite a bit of weight on your pack for like safety reasons. Candace has like this list of items that need to be in your pack at all times, or you're wearing it like a jacket, pants, gloves, beanie, those kind of things. So I was rocking around with like a weighted vest also. So I'm freaking in Arizona like a madman, training with the vest at 115-degree weather. Nice. And I also believe that helped me because I think in the second day, there was this long section where it was very hot and exposed, and it took out a lot of runners who couldn't deal with the heat. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it had the most DNFs. And I think it was that stretch was what got a lot of people. So I'm thankful that I had acclimated to the heat by my daily suffering of running in 115-degree weather that Arizona has in August, September.
Yep. That's smart, man. There was one year I did Western States, and at the time I had a driving job, and I spent the whole summer driving around with the windows up and the heat cranked. And that was my heat training. I didn't have access to a sauna that year. Yeah. So all day long, I'm just driving around with heat just blasting on me. And it went great. And I was so glad I did it because it was the second hottest that had ever been at that race. So it ended up paying off, man. So
we get comfortable being uncomfortable. People don't like the heat. They want to stay in that air conditioned house, or they don't like the cold. They want to stay in the house with the heater. Like, I'm comfortable. Like, I could sleep in a trail at 40-degree weather, and it could feel like a bed at a 5-star hotel.
Totally.
Like I'm good in any condition. And that's something that I really love about ultra running is like I'm adaptable. I'm good in the city. Like right now I'm in the city. I can run the streets, but if I need to go, hang out in the mountains, I'm comfortable there too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it,
I
man.
can sleep on rocks, baby. I can sleep on the dirt.
All day, all day. We got it.
100%.
Oh,
That's it.
cool. Tell me about the Wolfpack.
Wolfpack, man. We just talked about a lot of cool stuff that I did in 2020.
Yeah.
I would give all that back if I had to keep the Wolfpack. And that's how special, beautiful, amazing, awesome, and all of those words that would follow that are in that suit is the Wolfpack. So what that is when the pandemic first hit and all of us were freaking out, going like, what is going on? Like, what is this thing? The city started to shut down. I'm in San Diego, so like we were one of the first to shut down. And then eventually like the whole state shut down and gyms closed. And what happened was we're like, okay, like we're, basically we can only like maybe go to the grocery store and everything else was kind of locked down, was kind of the vibe in San Diego at the time. And I'm sure like elsewhere in the country and across the world, it was a similar vibe in the beginning. It was like complete shutdown. Let's figure out what's going on here. So although gyms were closed, I've always had a fascination with wolves, and I think they're the most beautiful animal. I love like the pack mentality, all that kind of stuff. So at some point, we just started like, so a group started going like, let's have a plank challenge. And then we would tag each other on the Instagram story. Mm-hmm. And then people would go and hit planks. And then like, then it would be like, let's hit like X amount of miles. Let's do kettlebell swings. Let's do push-ups. Let's do a push-up challenge. And then it would get absurd to where people would start doing like handstand push-ups and, all the silly stuff. Mm-hmm. But what it was doing was it was building a community that said, okay, the city shut down, but us getting after it is not shut down. Yeah. So we're still going to train. We're still going to work out. It might be in our garage. It might be around the neighborhood. And we're going to encourage each other in this unprecedented time to keep all of us positive, to keep us all working, and to keep us getting after it. And so that's where it was born. And I think just people seeing the stories and then jumping in, and it's just snowballing to where now it's such a big community. Like I said, like I would say I got Wolfpack in Arizona. There's a Wolfpack in Australia, Japan, UK, LA, a huge one in San Diego. And it's just all these people that no matter what are going to chop that wood. And when I say chop that wood, it means they're going to work hard. And they're not going to let anything that's going on prevent them from at least getting a workout, getting a sweat. Because I believe for us to be our best, we got to train. We got to stay active. We got to keep moving. So it's beyond just me. Like there's a ton of inspiring people that are up in the game, and everybody's pushing everybody to just do these crazy challenges. I mean, my buddy Jem did the Aravaipa 10-day challenge, who I met at a last person standing event. And now I look at the dude like a brother. He just knocked out 500 miles and won the event. And then, I've got, we had 8 people this past weekend do an Aravaipa 50K, and 2 of them did, 6 people did a 50K and 2 did 100 mile or went for attempted. And we're already talking about the next race. So it's just like you might have, most people might have a group of friends and they go like, yeah, we're going to do a 50K or a 50 mile or 100 miler. And they would be like, well, you're crazy. Like, what are you thinking? That's bad for you. Why would you do that? Da, 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 da. You go like on our Instagram and you go like, I'm going to do a 50 mile, 100 mile. They're like, hell yeah. Like, what do you need? Let's go. You got this. Nothing's going to stop you. And you start getting all this, and you just got like a team that doesn't believe in those limitations that other people have. And that if you fall, like one of my buddies failed on the 100 mile attempt this weekend. He got to like 65. And so maybe he's feeling, some people might go, he didn't finish. But my belief is, hey, our successes, the Wolfpack successes, ultra people successes, our misses, our failures are still higher than other people's successes.
Totally.
So is it a failure that he hit 65 miles? Hell no, because most people can't hit a marathon.
Right.
So he just did over 100K. So I'm super proud of him. I think it's epic what he did. And let's regroup. If he really wants a 100-mile, we'll get back out after that. So it's like a bunch of people with that kind of mentality that goes, nah, man, there's no shame in 65-mile DNS because that's so much awesomer than hitting a 50-miler. Like, I think that's cooler to fail. I'd rather fail at a 100-mile and hit 65 than hit a 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of how we think. And, like, my buddy did in 10 days 500 miles. I'm going for the Triple Crown. We just wow out, but we wow out and encourage each other and give each other love for these crazy things that we do. And for that, like, I can't trade that in the world for nothing. It's so freaking awesome to be a part of a community that's just wild, but wild in like a fun, awesome, loving, encouraging way.
Totally. So this whole thing just started like Instagram?
Yeah, 100%, all Instagram.
And was it you that started it?
I would say I was probably one of 6, 7 people.
Okay.
I would say I would call them the OGs. That kind of would like started like the hashtagging or the shouting out the others, and then it's just been
nice. Yeah. So cool, man. Iron sharpens iron, right?
100%.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of my sayings right there.
I mean, you surround yourself with the right people, the people you want to be, the people with the right attitudes, and you just turn into one of those people, man.
Yeah, that was a big lesson. Big lesson in 2020 was for sure, like, realizing how much your circle can make or break you. You know, like if I would, so let's say my circle of like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they would make jokes. They would say, it's just running. You think that's cool, like whatever. You know, like they would kind of downplay it and even like different of my wife's friends' husbands, you know, like they would just kind of be like, what are you going to run? Why would you do that to yourself? Like, And maybe like, if I hear enough of that, then I might go like, yeah, you're right. Like, why, like, what is the point? Like, I'm not going to make money off this. I'm not going to, you know, if you see some of these ultra events, it's not like there's a big crowd at the finish line. Like, what are you doing this for?
Right.
So I could see how people get discouraged or stop. But when you got people that you see are doing 500-mile challenges, 50Ks here, attempting their first 50Ks, which also happened this past weekend, doing Triple Crowns, doing 200-milers, doing all this stuff, like I'm inspired every single day by some of the most beautiful men and women on the planet, in my opinion, by what they're doing. And like, there's this girl that I just made friends with, and her goal is a 5K a day, every day, right? Yep. So that's not the Triple Crown, but I'm super inspired because I've seen her in like 30 to 40 degree weather every day on her stories, show her and her dog running somewhere in Pennsylvania, hitting 3 miles.
Yeah.
Like, that's freaking awesome, man. So
Totally.
It doesn't have to be Triple Crown. It could be something small, like somebody who's turning their life around and going like, I'm going to start with this challenge. And I know her goal is to get to an ultra, and she's starting with that. So like, I'm super proud of her. And she's going, you inspire me, Hector. And I'm going, shit, you inspire me. Like, keep that up.
Yes.
So like Pain Cave can be found at different miles for different people. And long as we're all doing, like you could see right now, my sweater, reigning champ.
Yeah.
And what that means to me means being the reigning champ at giving your best effort for yourself. And so she's doing it. I'm doing it. The pack is doing it. And I love it. That's why I can't trade it, man. I can't trade it for nothing.
That's really
so
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, I love that. Same here, man. I mean, all kinds of people inspire me. People who are losing weight for the first time, people who are, you know, quitting bad things in their life, or trying to get their mental game together. All that stuff
100%.
inspires me. I love talking with all those people, man. So it's really cool, man.
Yeah, like it's not even running too. This Saturday, I'm gonna go run with these dudes, and it's basically a crew that all they train is jujitsu. And to me, I love it because they're in the gym every day. It's almost like chess jujitsu with all of the different,
absolutely
dynamics they're doing. And we're gonna bond in the sense that we're both disciplined. We both hit it every day. We're both getting better. And so like those fundamentals create a bond, even though they're not a runner, they're going into matches, not mountains, but they're going matches with somebody else, trying to defeat the person, trying to, arm bar them or choke them out or doing all that kind of stuff. But there's a bond even with them. Totally. And there's, I got Wolfpack that focus on Ironman or lifting weights. So like, long as we all have like a challenge and a way that we're getting better and it's healthy and it's inspiring, man, I'm supportive. Like it doesn't even have to be running. You could be a cyclist. Like I know so many cyclists out where you live, man. I'm so jealous. I need to get to Boulder, by the way.
Dude, come on through, man.
But yeah.
Come on through.
I know, man.
If you do.
I was this close to moving there, man. Like I love, like how we were talking about nature at the start of this. Like I love driving no matter where you're at. You see the skyline of the mountains over there, man.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
Oh, dude. I know. It's so cool. Let me know if you come on through, man. You, me, and Brian will have to get together and go do something crazy, man. Last.
We'll chop some good wood.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Oh yeah.
I love it, man. Well, so like what's not, I mean, I know what your next project is. Are you thinking ahead of that? Are you just focused on the Triple Crown at this point?
No, man, I'm always thinking. But that doesn't mean it doesn't change. So like I'll get myself ready. I got some other challenges I want to do leading up to the Triple Crown. My goal is to finish that. If I finish that, at some point along the line, I want to go for Badwater. The one Badwater 135 is definitely on my bucket list.
Nice.
So figuring out all of the races, I'm like kind of eyeing what comes to fruition and what doesn't. But are definitely Badwater 135s on my bucket list. The Cocodona, is that how you say it? I hope I'm saying it right. The Cocodona 250 by Aravipa.
Yep.
So maybe those two might be my next. If at any point I fail any one of the three races, then maybe going back the next year and attempting again. So assuming everything goes well, I think probably the Cocodona and a Badwater. And I have an interest to go do a last person standing again. I really like a race that doesn't have a finish line. I love just the mentality of that.
Yeah.
So I would say those are probably my three. And then I also have a big goal, but I want the pandemic to subside a bit or us to get to a steady state. But my initial plan was before the Triple Crown was for this year to do a cross country run. But a lot of people go from like New York to LA or New York to Frisco, I think it's like the Transcon route. I wanted to go from East Coast to West Coast but finish in San Diego and see like what the records would be for that.
Okay.
So that's also kind of a big goal that maybe will be 2 years down the road, and see if I can get the pack to come run with me and run through all the neighborhoods and the communities from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, Forrest Gump style.
Yeah, I like it. Dude, hold on to that RV. You're going to need it, man. You're going to need that RV crew.
Yeah.
So you're not
100%.
slowing down, man. You're just building.
No.
You're just getting bigger. I love it.
Jesse Itzler taught me we play tomorrow ain't promise, and we play life on the offense. So
yes,
I'm a rider on that. Tomorrow's not promise. I'll go as long as I can continue to have the opportunity to run, to push myself, to challenge myself. I'm comfortable with if I turn out to be a 70-year-old guy and my knees are shot because of all this stuff that I'm doing, man, like it is what it is. At least I know like I lived a fulfilled life. I crushed some amazing challenges that a lot of people can't do. I had a blast. I inspired people. I showed a good example to my girls of what hard work looks like. You know, like my girls will never say their dad is not the hardest worker they ever seen.
Nah.
So it's not happening, not on my watch. So, you know, I'll deal with the consequences because I know I'm pushing at an extreme level, but I'm in the rabbit hole and there's no pumping my brakes.
Do you ever think about like what would happen if running was taken away from you? Like, God forbid there was an accident or some horrible thing. Like, would you be able to just adapt, or what do you?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on what, but there's all kinds of enduring challenges you can do. So,
For sure.
you know, if I can't run, can I cycle? If I can't cycle, can I swim? If I can't swim, can I read? You know, can I, you know, I don't know what, you know, we would have to play out the circumstance of what would happen.
Right.
But if running was taken away and my knees were, you know, let's say my knees are jacked up, then I'd move to a stationary bike, or I would get into swimming. There's no way that if I can be active, that I wouldn't be, whatever that would entail. And there's no way that if I can put myself in an enduring situation, because I think the endurance and enduring discomfort is where the key to success and where the money lies, like the money to life, the success, it lies in that. So, you know, it would be figuring out what can I do given whatever limitations now life throws at me, that I can still be as active as I can be and endure something to just keep moving forward and keep getting better and keep getting stronger in whatever way I can.
Yeah. It's badass, dude. You got the right attitude, man. I love talking.
That's how we rock.
Dude, I love it.
We rock, bro.
I love it. You got that positive mental attitude. Where can people find you, man?
The best way to find me is on Instagram, HRod619. Absolutely. If you message me, I'm going to message you back. So just if there's anything, any of your listeners, anybody who watches this, anything I can help somebody, man, I'm all for it. There's a Wolfpack community open to everybody, anybody across the globe. We got your back. We love you. The rules to the game are we have no limits. We get after it and we support each other in conquering our challenges.
Oh, I love it. So you guys don't have like a specific page for the Wolfpack or anything, do you? No.
Now you just find one of us and yeah, and we just blow each other up. You see, you just look at some of the race companies that anytime we're in a race, we bomb them. We just bomb them, supporting our runners in those races. It's so much fun. So much fun.
I love it. Hector, you're a super inspirational dude, man. I love talking with you. You know, I've been running ultras for like a good decade or so, and I feel like you're just one of those guys who just came up and just jumped over the hurdle of the 100-mile distance and just dove right into the 200. So it's inspiring, man. It's good stuff. So just keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring people. Keep putting yourself out there. You know, you spread that positive mental attitude and you're just going to get more of it back, man. So just stay on the path you're on. It's awesome.
Man, I believe everything you said, and I have felt it. So you can count on me, you know, God willing, as long as I stay healthy and I can keep doing what I'm doing, you can count on that to happen, man. I appreciate this conversation. This has been fun. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
If I do come to Colorado, we're going to go chop some wood together.
Definitely, man. I'll set something up and we'll challenge it out of each other, man. I can't wait. Well, keep it up, man. Yes, I love it. We'll stay in touch, man, and good luck this year. Man. We'll be keeping an eye on you. I'll be wishing you luck, and I'll be congratulating you afterwards. So just do your thing, man. I love it.
Much love to you guys.
Cool, brother. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Hector.